Yeah, hello everyone, welcome to this message. So for today, I've decided to use these cards, and these are the Witchy Tarot. So these are the Witchy Tarot cards that I'm using, and I'm also using these cards, and this is like a self-made Lenormand deck, but it has very specific meaning, so it deviates quite a bit from the traditional Lenormand system. So let's see, both in system itself, but also in meanings. So let's just see. So, so first of all, we have the Ten of Wands, which is the Ten of Flames here, and this means that there is a perfection, an ending, a time to restart when it comes to passions, desires, and creative energies. So it seems that something is ending, there's some time that like it is a time to restart a desire maybe. So I do think that there is an end of a desire and there is a start of another desire. So something else wants to be created, something is ending. There could be a perfection in this ending, but there could also be a perfection in this restart, and also like literally hearing divine restart. So it could be that what you are going through right now is a divine restart, where you're going to certain things are going to be ending in your life, and there's a certain perfection maybe to this ending, and you will start. There is a new start in your life, a restart. So it could also be because it is a restart that we're going back to something in the past that is going to be restarted again, right? So a restart means that something that was started in the past will have a restart, right? So just like I'm seeing now, like with Formula One, for example, right? Like if a race started in the wrong way, right? So maybe someone drove through the traffic light while they actually shouldn't have started the race yet, right? So it's not like not everyone starts at the same position, you could say, right? So let's just start again. So it has to do with like a false start, right? So there could be that there was a false start in your life, and like so the divine is like giving you a chance to make a restart, to like start the race again, right? And like make a proper start now. So it has something to do with that you have, that there is something that is ending in your life, and there's a certain perfection in this ending that is happening. And there's also something maybe of a perfection in the restart that's happening. Maybe it's starting in a really perfect way, in a really pure way, maybe. There's something about that this is a divine restart in your life, which could signify that something of the past that got into a false start is going to be restarted again by some kind of divine unfolding, right? And if we're going to look at the card seems to suggest that there is like you have all of these. I think it's like candy and like food, all kinds of things are on the floor, and like she is particularly seemingly to take out the apples, right? So she is taking out a specific thing from the equation. So it could be that from all of the aspects of your life, only particular things are going to be selected. So there's something very very specific about whatever is being created now, whatever this divine restart in your life is. It is very very specific. So only very specific things are going to be taken with you into this new journey, which is not really a new journey. It's actually something that got off to a false start, and it's like like the divine is giving you another chance to start this journey again, to start this again, right? So it has something to do with that. And then we have the Four of Broomsticks. The Four of Broomsticks in this deck is the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords talks about stability, force, and safety. So stability, force, and safety when it relates to ideas, words, and intellectual energies. So whatever this is, it may be a very stable idea in terms of if you would look at intellectual framework of whatever is about to happen, it is very stable, it is very clear, it is very defined, I think. So, and also maybe this fresh new start will come with a safety. Also, um, it's like an intellectual safety. It could have something to do with your mind. Maybe your mind is protected in this new chapter, or at least I think it's much more than that. It could be like your mind is protected in this new chapter, right? But it could also be there is a very, very specific mental framework is incredibly stable, right? But the stability I see much more as there is a very, very clear framework, just like here, right? There is a very specific whatever is being picked from the equation, right? The equation of your life, it's going to be very, very specific. Like we're only taking out the apples and the rest we're leaving behind, right? So it's very, very specific. So it's similar to someone who has a diet, right? And like for example, like someone who chooses to be a fruitarian and not just a fruitarian, someone who says like I'm just going to invent a new kind of diet and I'm going to be an appletarian or something, right? So like someone who only eats apples. So it has to do with like being like in terms of a metaphor, this talks about that it is incredibly specific. So this new start, this happening in your life, this divine restart in your life is has an incredibly specific framework to it, a very specific intellectual framework to it. So it's going to be intellectually very clear what this framework is, what this new life actually consists of and what it doesn't consist of. So it will probably have ingredients, like metaphorical ingredients, that are very, very specific. That's what I'm seeing in that. So let's see. There's a very specific conceptual idea behind it, right? A conceptual framework, and it's also incredibly stable. So I do think like this future is going to give you a lot of stability and a lot of safety, right? A feeling of feeling emotionally safe, feeling financially safe. Maybe you could be feeling safe in all kinds of ways, right? But like, and it has to do with predictability. Maybe something is very specific, very clear, very understandable. And also in terms of like a conceptual, it is conceptually, intellectually, this is very, very clearly understandable. It has a clear rules, clear framework. Let's see. Then we have on this card, we see a broomstick that is broken. So it could have to do like the broomsticks in this particular deck of cards represent swords. So this could be communication. That could be a breakdown in communication, maybe with certain people. It's possible. It could be, in terms of intellectual framework, maybe the divine is breaking your intellectual framework. So it could talk about that, like your life is going to require a completely different framework, a completely different way of thinking, but more in terms of like a framework, right? A conceptual framework for your life. So it's more like a life philosophy, I guess, a mindset, a life philosophy, and it's going to completely change, it seems. And it's very specific what the divine is changing your framework into, what the divine is, how the divine is trying to change your philosophy, your overall philosophy and framework of life. So let's see. Um, it could even be a completely different way of communicating as well that's going to be part of that life philosophy. And maybe breaking contact with certain people as well, breaking communication, right? And then we have like these five rats on there. The five rats. Again, this makes me think a little bit about witchcraft in and of itself. I think there's something about, because number five to me means stagnancy, things that are stuck and stagnant, and it could have to do with witchcraft because the rats are like a symbolic representation for me of There's kind of like a symptom, a sign of witchcraft happening. So it's like whether you see it as like literally, however you want to see witchcraft, right? Could be like negative energy sent your way, people being sending you jealous energy, like the evil eye, right? So that could also be it, or it could be literal spell work or demonic. Also, like yeah, like I more than anything, like I never really associated rats with witchcraft. I actually always associated with demonic warfare, right? So it could be that the stagnancy that is in your life is a symptom of demonic warfare. And maybe because this is a symptom of demonic warfare, we need a completely different uh, philosophical framework, completely different way of approaching everything in your life, pretty much. So let's just see. Um, then we have the Tree of Boulders, the Tree of Cauldrons, I mean, and the Tree of Cauldrons means is a Tree of Cups in this particular tarot deck, and it represents creative energy, novelty, and solution when it relates to feelings, emotions, and intuitive energies. So it could be that there is an intuitive solution that is being created, a new solution, but there's also something of an intuitive element to this new solution. It feels rather intuitive, it feels rather natural, maybe. It could be that this is feeling rather natural to you, the solution that is being presented. Very like when it feels intuitive, it feels natural, right? It feels logical. And this also has to do maybe with that logical framework. Um, So there is something very logical about this. It makes sense to you, right? Logically, it makes sense to you to take this approach, and it feels very intuitive, very natural to you, and very logical to you. It makes sense to approach life in this kind of way, um, or to move forward in this kind of a direction in life. We see someone is like a spoon. Someone is feeding someone maybe soup or something, and soup makes me think about comfort. So maybe you are being given something that feels comfortable to you. So it could be like this is talking about a solution that feels comfortable to you, a solution to a problem that exists in your life, and you're like, yes, this feels comfortable. This feels like something that feels logical, intuitive, and natural to me, like a logical further course of events, a logical solution to the problem at hand. It feels comfortable, right? So, comfortable means that it feels logical to you. It feels like common sense, right? Like the right thing to do, the logical thing to do. And thus there's also a level of comfort with it, just like this here, right? Like their safety and stability. There is something about that this future course of events, this divine restart, that you will feel very comfortable in this life, so that you're like you're not really stressed out. You can just be yourself. um you're living a very this new life will be a very comfortable existence. This solution will be a very comfortable solution. Let's see, a solution that makes sense. And then we have the Sun card as the underlying energy. And the Sun card means strong and sure in character, yet open to the lessons of divine teaching. The mortal goes forth in glory, wealth, health, happiness, spiritual fulfillment, and all good things are yours. Open your heart to receive them. So it definitely talks about that this future that you are walking into is going to be a very positive future, as you can see, right? Something that you want to open your heart to receive. So it's like you are this is definitely something you want to be open to. You're definitely wanting to be open to whatever is going to come your way now, and you may feel very strong and sure in your character, right? Or just very strong and very assured, like this makes sense to me. This is the right way to go. This is this is the logical right unfolding that makes me feel comfortable. Like now things make sense, things are flowing the way it's supposed to be flowing. Maybe there's a level of comfort, and it makes sense to you. It makes you feel very at ease, you could say. And maybe you will feel very strong and very assured about yourself, but also how things are unfolding. And you are learning certain divine teachings at this moment in time, and you are definitely moving towards a lot of beautiful things, right? All good things in your future, which is also represented by these cards as well. There's an indication of only good things to come, right? Let's see. This donkey makes me think about like in Dutch there is this saying that a donkey doesn't like we don't have a donkey in the backyard that is shedding money, right? A little bit like a money tree, right? That you like slap on its back and then it gives you money, right? So we don't. This is this idea about that. There's not really like a money tree growing in the backyard, right? So like you can't stir this on, right? You can't make something happen. So there's something about maybe your money as well, at your money, like you were very stagnant in your money situation. You just couldn't make it happen. Like you couldn't slap it on the back and like say like, come on, donkey, like make this financial situation have some progress here, right? So there's something about, there is a certain situation in your life where you just couldn't get it going, right? You couldn't get it to start moving and start producing your money, right? So like there's something about that. So maybe there's also like a divine restart there, a divine solution that is being presented there as well. So to be definitely open to this. And then we have these cards. So what do these cards literally represent? Because there is like, you could literally read it as a sentence. So the literal sentence that these cards are saying. So we have the dog, we have the lily, and we have the gentleman. So what this literally says, written it down, right? It means loyalty being something like subjugated, right? Being dominated by something, right? So you're being dominated by something, you are being loyal to something, you're being a servant, subservient to something, right? Obedient to something. But in terms of like being lesser than, right? Subservient, loyal and subservient and dominated by. And this is creating a wisdom, and this could even be a book wisdom. And it could be creating a very intellectual approach to things, or a very wise person. So you may even be yourself the wise person that is being created as a result of being dominated, as a result of being loyal to something, but also being like subjugated, subservient to something, being put underneath something, right? Dominated by something, which is creating wisdom in you, or it could be creating an intellectual approach, or you becoming a wise person. It could be creating wisdom in you, and this is happening either through a male person, so maybe a male person is causing this, or it could be that a male energy within yourself, which is it is not really expressed, right? So it could be that there is a wisdom. Like, first, let's go here, right? So it could be like a male energy within yourself that is not being expressed currently, or it could be a male energy within you, or even a male in and of itself that is not being seen, and that is like a person that is very shy or very modest, right? So what does this literally say? So you have that you are being loyal to something, or being subjugated, subservient to something, right? Put underneath someone. I don't know how you should say that word. And like you're definitely being dominated by something, right? But something sees you as lesser than and like pushes you under, right? Dominates you, and you are loyal to this domination. You could say you are loyal to this situation, these people, whatever it may be, to something. It could even like be a mental way of thinking, right? like a mindset or whatever, but like you are being pushed down by something, right? And you're being loyal to it as well. And then we have that this is causing a wisdom in you, maybe even a book wisdom. So it could be that you may be writing a book as a result of this. You are it's creating a very, maybe it's creating a very mental approach in you, like a mental further approach in life. So maybe you're not going to be seeing things, you may not be approaching things so emotionally anymore. You may be taking a more logical approach, a more maybe also like an approach that makes sense to you, a logical approach, right? So this is not an emotional approach. This is not an approach that is based on emotion or like emotions of guilt or whatever it may be, right? Like you are not allowing yourself to be guided by emotion, by things that don't make sense to you, right? This is causing you to take a very logical approach, an approach that makes sense to you, and maybe even common sense in and of itself. And like it is also creating wisdom in you. So you may be becoming very wise, or it's creating wisdom in you through some kind of male energy inside of you that previously was not being expressed, right? That was previously not being seen, and it could have been because you were very shy, you were very modest, and now this is well, it could actually be that you are still. I think it is like literally, right, a male energy within you that is not being expressed, but it's also a male energy that is not being seen by others, right? So other people do not recognize this male energy inside of you. And it could be that you are, that this whole situation is making you very modest. It's making you very shy or modest and not expressing your male energy. So like it usually talks about like a male that is not being seen, right? A male energy inside of someone that is not being expressed or seen. So this is what is happening right now. And then you have these next cards. You have the bear, the sun, the bear, the sun, and the key. And what this literally says is this. So let's first go here, right? So the bear means someone is coming to your defense, or someone is defending you, or you may be creating a wall around yourself, right? So I do think like it could have something to do with like creating a wall around yourself. This is creating something that is being highlighted or that is now becoming clear. So it could be that you some like let's just go there. So it may be creating something that is now becoming clear, or it is being highlighted because of this defense, because someone is coming to your defense, or because you are creating a wall around yourself, which is causing something to become highlighted, something to become clear to you. And there it could be that there is a spotlight on something. And how is there a spotlight on something? Through this key here, right? And the key means that there is a groundbreaking insight, something like a breakthrough, right? An insight, an insight that you could very much see as a breakthrough in your life, a groundbreaking, a breakthrough insight, a sudden revelation, a sudden insight that you're getting. You're finding a solution. So again, you are finding a solution, or you're finding the missing element of your life, right? So there is something about these people, whatever it may be, right? So someone is coming to your defense. It could even be the divine, right? The divine is coming to your defense. And as the divine is coming to your defense, it could be the divine is making something, it's like highlighting something, it's making something clear to you, it's putting the spotlight on something. And as a result of that, you are gaining an insight, a groundbreaking insight, a sudden insight. And you are finding the solution or the missing element that you are looking for because of the divine, right? The divine that is coming to your defense. It could also be that someone is coming to your defense that is highlighting this, or it could be that you are like creating a wall around yourself. So this could be like an emotional protection. It could be an energetic protection that you are creating around yourself, which is causing something to become highlighted, which is causing there to be a spotlight on something. So maybe something will become much clearer. So, for example, like you are protecting your energy, right? And because you are in your own energy, you are starting to something becomes way clearer than it was before, right? Because it becomes highlighted as a result of that, right? And because there is a spotlight on something, because there is a highlight on something, this is causing this breakthrough to happen. You are finally finding the missing piece. You're finally finding the solution to your problem, right? So, and there's definitely something here about, also in these cards, right, about a solution, right? A divine creating a solution for you and a divine restart. And it has to do with maybe you coming into your own energy, protecting your energy a lot more, which is causing this, right? Which is causing maybe a contrast to be very much highlighted. Or it could be that you being in your own energy is highlighting things in and of itself. Or it could be that someone coming to your defense, this could be the divine coming to your defense that is causing this, or even a person that is coming to your defense that is causing this. So that's what I'm seeing here. And then we have at the bottom of the deck, we get the path. And the path means that this is a representation of your path in life. It could be that there is going to be a bend on your path, that life is going to take a turn, and I'm hearing a sudden turn, right? So life is taking a sudden turn. Information could be presented to you about the path forward in your life. And it could also be that you are going to be able to, that this card kind of signifies that you can expect positive things, that your situation will improve. So your situation will get better, your situation will improve, you can expect positive things. And there's something about that, that there is information that will be presented to you about the path ahead, and that your life may take a sudden turn, right? So something is going to change, and it has to do because there's also like an affirmation that goes with this card, and the affirmation is this: life wants better things for me, so I'm going to open myself up to this, right? So life wants better things for me, so I'm going to open myself up to this. So that's pretty much what's happening. So like life is trying to, like life, the divine, right, is trying to, is wanting better things for you, right? So God wants something better for you, wants better things for you, wants a better life existence for you. So he is doing that, right? God is doing that, life is doing that through these revelations that are happening, potentially, however you want to see this spread, right? That's the way in which this is going to happen. So, and you can definitely expect positive things to happen in your life. So this could be God highlighting things, you protecting yourself a lot more, or like emotion causing yourself off a lot more, and it could also be maybe you're gaining wise advice from someone, could be the case, or like there's definitely something about someone coming to your defense, right? Or maybe you are defending someone, right? But there's something here about that. That this is highlighting something, that's putting the spotlight on something, which is causing the solution to happen. So that's pretty much what's happening, and it will very likely be a very something that feels very intuitive to you. Very something like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. This is the logical way to proceed. This is the logical bent to take in my life, and it could have to do with something like something that is ending, and there is a divine restart happening in your life at the same time. So that's kind of what I'm getting here. So I hope this was insightful, and I'm wishing you a very beautiful day ahead. Bye bye.